Hello and welcome back. So in the last video I suggested that sentences that are made up of a main clause and a non-restrictive or parenthetical phrase are also sentences that could be broken into two statements and basically have the same meaning. So if we go back to one of our previous examples here, let's look at this one right here with the parenthetical who is slightly deaf. So Uncle John, who is slightly deaf, likes to watch TV at a high volume. That could become two sentences if we so choose, right? It's saying, one, Uncle John is slightly deaf. And number two, it's stating the second part. Now notice that if we decided to break the original sentence into two statements, we would not change the meaning of the intended message here. Uncle John is slightly deaf and he likes to watch TV at a high volume. The first statement serves to sort of explain the second statement. If we put them both together, the same exact thing is going on. Now contrast that with the second example down here. The student sitting in the back of the class. Now we said it would be a mistake to separate this phrase with two commas because it's actually a restrictive phrase. It serves to define or limit the students that we are talking about. And so we can't just mark it off with a set of commas here. If we did that, it suggests that we're writing a very different message here. We're stating two things if we do it like this. We're suggesting, one, that all of the students are sitting in the back of the class. And next, we're suggesting that they didn't listen to the teacher, that they ignored the teacher. We're not suggesting that. We're stating that explicitly. So can you see here that if we were to be ungrammatical here with the statement, then we confuse the message altogether. In fact, we don't confuse it. We're really stating something altogether different. We're saying that the students, comma, sitting in the back of the class, therefore we're saying that all of the students were sitting in the back of the class and all of the students ignored the teacher, which is very different from what would have been presumably the intended message of the writer, which is that not all of the students, but just the ones who were sitting in the back of the class were ignoring the teacher. Now, I'm going to close this video with two examples that might be a little bit trickier, and I want you to try to figure which one requires a comma and which one doesn't. In other words, which one includes a parenthetical and which one does not. So consider the two following examples. So there's my first one, and here's my second one. Now, one of these sentences requires a set of commas. The other does not. Pause the video if you'd like and see if you can determine which of these examples it is. Okay, so one of these statements, as I said, includes a parenthetical, the other does not. I know this is a little bit tricky, but here it is. It's the second one. The second one requires two commas, here and here. Our oldest daughter, Janet, loves to sing. Now, why is that? Why is this a non-restrictive? Well, if you think about it, the preceding phrase, our oldest daughter, already refers to a specific person. There can only be one oldest daughter. And therefore, the name, adding the name Janet, just gives an additional piece of information that may be of interest to the reader. But we don't need it in particular to define who the oldest daughter is, again, because there can only be one oldest daughter. So the name Janet actually is a parenthetical. It adds an additional piece of information. Our oldest daughter, Janet, loves to sing. Whereas my cousin, that can refer to any number of cousins that the speaker, the writer, may have. And so when they write my cousin Joe, that refers to a particular cousin. The name Joe is restrictive. The phrase, my cousin Joe, says, look, not any of the other cousins that I have, but this particular cousin. And so it is a restrictive or defining name. And in this case, we would therefore not use a comma. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions about this, as always, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.